Hello and good day or good evening, depending on where in the world you are right now. Welcome to our info session on the MBA Master of Law programs at the WU Executive Academy. Today I'm here with a very special person, namely the Dean of the WU Executive Academy, Professor Barbara Sturtinger.
Thank you very much for having me.
And my name is Anna Patterson, and I'll be walking you through this info session today. And how it's going to work is that Professor Sturtinger is going to share an overview of three things, namely the postgraduate experience, the investment you can expect, and the ROE, namely the return you can expect on your investment. And during the presentation part of this info session, if you have any questions, please share them in the chat box. I'm going to be taking notes, and afterwards I'm going to be asking your questions to Professor Sturtinger here today. So it's going to be a very interactive session. The more questions we get, the more livelier it will be. Well, perfect. I'm looking forward to your questions, and I'll see you back in a bit.
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction, Anna. Welcome also from my side. As Anna has mentioned, there is lots to say about our programs, and probably I will not be able to cover all your questions. So therefore, do take advantage of the chat and post your questions there. Yeah, Anna has briefly mentioned it, that I basically want to talk about three different things. The first one is the postgraduate learning experience, and is such an experience the right thing for you? Let me start off with this topic. So basically, what are the typical motivations that bring students to campus to come back to university and start on an MBA program, start with a Master of Legal Studies or any other program you have in mind? One of the key motivations, of course, is looking for an intellectual challenge. You all have been in your professional environment for quite some time, and it might be a good time to take it to the next level, not only in terms of getting the next career move going, but also in getting new inspiration, getting new knowledge, filling in the gaps that you have experienced so far as you've been going along in your professional career. Other motivations could be you want to change something within your company, or your company is undergoing great changes, digitalization, you name it. Many things are going on in our corporate environments right now, and there are challenges coming up for your company, and you want to contribute to that in a fruitful way. Developing strategies along those lines could be another motivation. Or a very specific need to understand this or another topic in more detail. So for example, if you have a distinguished career in marketing and you feel that finance is an area that you want to continue to develop, or the other way around, then such a program can of course also give you a great boost along those lines. And last but not least, and I come back when we talk about return on investment at the very end, it can also mean a career change in your professional track. So if you have a yes to at least one of those issues, then a postgraduate education definitely is a good idea for you. Let me share, and I'm pretty sure you've been to our website, you've explored our product portfolio, so let me just highlight a few things that I think are very important and make us distinct as the WU Executive Academy. We take a holistic approach to postgraduate education, as we say, so we look and focus on many different components that make our programs really unique. The first one is top quality, and quality, of course, is something that's a hygiene factor. You go to a prestigious university, to a prestigious school to get top quality education. How do we prove that? Think about the accreditations that we have. The three leading ones on a global scale. These institutions come back to campus, check on what we're doing regularly, and establish year after year that what is delivered here at the WU Executive Academy is really outstanding quality. This quality does not only come with the accreditations, but with the faculty we were working with. First and foremost, with WU as one of Europe's leading business universities and one of Europe's largest business universities, we have a huge pool of faculty to rely on, to work with, but we also draw on the international network that the WU Executive Academy has. So most likely we'll not only have WU professors, but professors from the international environment, wherever we can get the best experts for you into the classroom. Second thing, we know that you're all very busy. You're accomplished professionals, so the MBA has to fit into your life. The way how we set up our programs to make it compatible, work and life balance. I come back to that issue a little bit later once again. Something that really makes us stand out, and you will find many aspects in my presentations along those lines, is really the international aspect. Yeah, and when I say international, it comes in many different shapes and forms, and I think it is really a big part of our DNA of who we are, who we want to be, and what we also have to offer to you as a potential student. What you see here on this slide, international comes with international residencies. All of our programs have at least one international residency included in the program, and basically, particularly those who are delivered in English, and that basically immerses you outside of the classroom into another environment, another business environment that is iconic for your specialization or the program that you choose. And last but not least, I come back to that issue when we talk about return on investment once again, that we focus on hands-on business education. What does that mean? Of course, you will hear state-of-the-art theoretical concepts, ideas of how to drive certain areas and topics forward. But it's always with a very strong focus on the application side that comes through the faculty, that comes through the way how we teach, but it also comes through the way how interaction is taking place in the classroom. So at this level, you do not only learn from the people in front of you, the professors, the faculty, but you also learn from those people sitting next to you. So therefore, one advice, when you look for an MBA program, a Master of Legal Studies or any other degree, look at the student composition. Where do people come from? Can I learn from those people sitting next to me, as I am willing to share something in the classroom as well? So these are four aspects that we focus on very strongly. You will hear me talking about it in different contexts as we go along in my presentation. Although I've seen that there are many different people in the audience around this time, I want to focus particularly on the professional MBA program, as these are the ones starting next. But many of the characteristics that you will see in this program, you will also find in our executive MBA programs. So the professional MBA program is set up in a way that it basically has three different components. The first one is the so-called business core. The business core is where you develop your knowledge, your experience, your expertise further in terms of business essentials. Basically, everything you need to run a company, to lead a business unit, from finance to marketing to entrepreneurship to IT and so on. So this is the business essentials. And then in the second part of your studies, you go into your specialization. We offer 6 specializations in English at the moment, and a few less in German. Yeah? And basically there you can drive your career along those lines further. So if you have been in marketing and sales for some time, or in finance, or in entrepreneurship, then this is where you can enhance and broaden your perspective on this field of specialization. And last but not least, the third component is the master thesis. The master thesis is the kind of the capstone project in your MBA, and it again is something that is very strongly applied. So you choose a business topic that's on your mind anyway, that you want to work on, and you bring in your entire theoretical knowledge that you've acquired over the period of the professional MBA program. You relate it to your business environment, and your supervisor supports you in making it a really fruitful experience, not only for yourself, but also maybe if you use it for your company, that there's actual value to your paper. In terms of, I talked about work-life balance. One important fact of this work-life balance is that you can actually integrate the MBA program or any other program you choose into your busy life. Yeah? The way how we contribute to that is, first of all, through a schedule that is carved in stone. Yeah? So you know already before you start all the modules as they will go along in the next 16, 18, 20 months. So you know exactly when you have to be on campus here in Vienna. when that allows you to travel to travel for your company outside of those times, arrange any other requirements you might have. So this really helps you to fit it into your schedule. From this intake on, we offer a new way of setting up your schedule or choosing your schedule. We have what we call a 4-day track, and you see the dates for the business core outlined here, and we have the 8-day track. And when you enter the program, you can choose which of the 2 tracks you want to participate in. So the 4-day track means you have smaller learning chunks. You come more often to Vienna. The 8-day track means bigger learning chunks, 8-day modules. You have to come to Vienna less. And it really is one way not only to fit it into your curriculum and to what your company life requires you to do. Some companies appreciate if you're gone more often but not so long. Other companies say, okay, it would be better if you take your learning journey in a condensed format, but it also is basically related to your learning style. So if you're a person who wants to be busy ongoingly in coming to Vienna, the 4-day track is an option. If you say, I want to really focus and deep dive, then probably the 8-day track is an option to choose in order according to your preferences. Yeah, as I mentioned, then after the business core, you have the different specializations. You find the specializations delivered in English here listed once again. And we also know when you're supposed to submit your master thesis in order to make sure that you reach graduation on time. Yeah, I started out in talking about the learning environment, and I mentioned previously that the student cohort is extremely important. At the level where you are right now, you have a lot to share, but you also learn a lot from the people sitting next to you. Think of a typical cohort size of 30, 35, 40, depending on the program. You have 30 individuals, 35 individuals sitting next to you who come from a different industry, who come from a different country, who have a different professional career. But they also have something to share. So think of this rich learning environment that you find yourself in and the professor in front of you. So this is really something unique about our programs. What is unique about it? The diversity and internationality. So what I would like to highlight at this point is you find on an overall perspective for our professional MBA programs, 75 or 74% of all our students in the professional MBA programs come outside of Austria. And typically the number of nationalities represented is around 30 countries in the classroom, 20, 25, depending on the size of the group. So think of this diversity that you find yourself in such a learning environment where everybody comes with different perspectives to the classroom, and that really broadens your horizon big time. The Master of Legal Studies, not to forget, I talked a lot about the professional MBA programs, which are to start in October or in fall. We also have programs with a law focus. 2 of them in Master of Legal Studies is in German language, focusing on the Austrian legal environment, international tax law, and the Master of Legal Studies in European Business Law, which will start again next year, focusing on the European legal environment. So this is where we leverage VU strength in business law into also postgraduate programs. Again, at this point, if you have any questions on any of the programs, just let Anna know in the chat. We can not only answer your questions afterwards, of course, but we can also get you in touch with the experts in the team, our program managers, for follow-up conversations. I talked about the program, what we think makes them very special, what we think is unique about VU Executive Academy, which is, in a nutshell, international diversity. Let me focus in my second part of the presentation on the investment. I showed you the schedule. You saw it's going to be a multiple months operation, 18 months usually minimum. So how can you fit that into your current life? And basically we can talk about when we look at investment, it's the time that you have to invest, the energy and effort, but also in terms of financials, of course, the tuition. And we have a couple of suggestions for you here as well. Talking about time, as I said, the schedule is already available. You know exactly when you have to be in Vienna. And this is, if you look at the modular structure, depending on the 4 or 6 day track or 8 day track, you will be here in Vienna for 4 days or 8 days in a row. Yeah? This is when you will work in the classroom with your colleagues, with the faculty, but you will also be busy outside of the classroom. So you can think of it as homework, which is called pre-module assignment and post-module assignment. Pre-module assignment is there to familiarize everybody with the content of the upcoming module. Yeah? You might not be expert on all the topics. If you've been working in finance, then marketing might not be as close to your heart. But to make sure that you can have a qualified discussion, can take the most out of this class, there will be preparatory material. That can be reading case studies, commenting on case studies, bringing your own case studies to class. Yeah? So this is also something that we value very highly, that you work with your real life situations from your corporate environment. So this prepares you to come to campus, and then we have the post-module assignments where you transfer whatever you've learned into your corporate environment. So you basically implement whatever you learn in an ongoing basis across those 15 months. So you will see a return on investment, the way how you do your work already from day one, and that's what we hear from our alumni very, very often. Just a quick comment on the grading. These also will be the 3 components that you're graded on. So you will get a grade on the pre-module assignment, core module, and post-module. Sometimes pre- and post-module assignments will be done in group. Then it would be a group grade. So that's usually the issue. Exams typically you will not find unless there are very certain and specific cases, but you will be basically assessed on this continuous assessment across the different modules. Yeah, who can speak better about how much time and energy it needs to be put into an MBA program than let our alumni speak. Yeah, and I brought you a couple of our alumni voices so that you get firsthand information of what they say on the aspects that I'm highlighting. And here is the case of Olena Klon. She has done one of our MBA programs. And when I asked her to provide us with a statement of, how much time did you actually have to spend on your MBA program, this is what she came up with. Yeah, and I think it's a very good and hands-on advice of typically 15 to 20 hours a week. It depends on the expertise that you have on certain topics. Sometimes that might be a little less, sometimes that might be a little bit more, and also how much of your time you want to put into that. We make sure that you put the level into your work that we require, but how far you push it is really up to you. You are here voluntarily. Another aspect of her quote, which I would like to highlight, is at the time that Olena was doing her MBA, she was working as a consultant, predominantly in Vietnam. Yeah, so she got a little bit of a reduction of her time with the company, but still she was traveling back and forth. And you all know consultants usually don't have a 9-to-5 job. What that highlights is basically people working and doing an MBA next to each other. It's possible. We don't say it's easy, but Olena is one of the examples where you can see it's doable. Yeah, we talked about time. We talked about energy that you have to invest. And then, of course, it's about the tuition. We do support you along those lines, and I've listed a couple of points that I just want to highlight. You find a special section on financing on our website where all these points are highlighted in more detail later on. But let me just focus on a few of them or briefly touch upon them, so that gets you going in how you can talk to different people about your MBA program and whether they can contribute. First of all is, of course, employer sponsorship. Yeah, while we see that employers are increasingly reluctant to give money, very often they support through free time, yeah, or unpaid leave, for example, or any other forms of support. Yeah. If you go online to the website, once again, we have a couple of arguments that you can benefit from in how to sell the MBA to your employer. Education loans, and that really depends on specific country settings, like also tax benefits. So if you pay taxes in Austria, you are really lucky because there are great tax deductibles, and that really makes the tuition a much less big burden. If you're not in Austria, if you pay in a foreign currency, we do allow you to pay in your local currency as well through Global Pay for Students. So that's another fact that you may want to consider when you think about how to finance your MBA or your postgraduate education. There are external funding opportunities that you may also want to take advantage of. Again, more information is provided on the website. And then there are a couple of things that we do as the VUE Executive Academy to make your life easier. The first one is that we have a scholarship program out, which gives scholarships to certain target groups. Yeah. And you see a quick overview here. On most of the scholarships are up to 25% of the tuition. We do look into your scholarship application quite closely. So be prepared that we also will ask you for payment documents, what you earn at the moment, because we do not only want to get the best individuals in the class with our scholarships, but also those where we, with our money, can make the biggest impact. Then you find a couple of other special scholarships for different types of programs. Again, an entire overview can be found on the website under the header of financing. We do also offer early bird discounts, so if you are all ready to go and you want to start your program, for example, Executive MBA program, Global Executive MBA program next year, early bird is still available. If it's not feasible for this intake anymore, then look into the last bullet point here, and that's that we offer payment in installments. So again, that might help you out in delivering a customized payment plan that might suit your company, your tax situation, your financial situation the best. This is what we can accommodate together with you. And we basically put that up at the beginning of the program and go along with you in the program. Yeah, so you see that there are a couple of options to also support financially, which leads me actually to, when we talk about finance and investment, to my last part of the presentation, which is the return on investment. So if you look at what you've put into such an MBA program, a legal program, in terms of time, energy, and money, what can you expect in terms of return on investment? And I want to highlight along these aspects along three different dimensions. The first one is career advancement. Yeah, you have a couple of aspects that I want to highlight here. I don't want to go into all the details. You can read by yourself on the screen, but basically it comes along four different dimensions. Yeah? The first one is a postgraduate program can be a career changer if you want it to be. Yeah? So we know that out of our alumni survey, 80% of our alumni change their job. Yeah? Either within the company because they get promoted, they get more responsibility, or they go on to the next employer. Yeah? So basically, it is a time of change. It's not going by itself. You have to do something about it. We support you with career services. But if you want to take your career to the next level, the MBA definitely is something that can work as a catalyst for that venture. With it comes personal development. You will have the opportunity not only to learn a lot of different topics, to brush up your knowledge, to get into new fields, but you will also develop substantially on a personal level. Yeah? Through the feedback from your peers, through working in groups, through working through challenges, through challenging times, but also in calibrating of what it is that you know now that you didn't know before. We hear from many of our students that basically it gives a lot of self-confidence, and that again can contribute to taking your career to the next level. Higher earnings usually comes with the first two bullets. Basically, if you move on, you get more responsibility. That comes with a salary increase. And on average, we have around 30% salary increase in the first 3 years. and that can go higher for specific programs if you look at the Global Executive MBA. Last but not least, self-fulfillment. If you think back of my first slide, why do you come into that program, or what could be a motivation? It was intellectual stimulation. What we very often hear from our students and alumni is that they find themselves more confident, that they see new opportunities by looking at what their colleagues have done in their professional environments. They see new opportunities for themselves and developing in very different directions from there on. So it is, if you want it to be a time of change, a time of positive change, a time of boost in terms of your self and your personality, but also, of course, in terms of your knowledge and experience. So this was, very much along the lines of financial return on investment, career advancement. I think one aspect when we talk about return on investment, and it's related to career, but not only, is the network that you generate. I think this is still one of the undervalued and underappreciated aspects of any postgraduate program. These people that you sit next to in class over 18 months are an extremely valuable resource. Not only for your learning during the program, not only to get this reflection on your personality, but for your professional life from now on. Never in your life will you be able to build such a diverse network. If you think of the business core, you're sitting together with individuals from different countries, cultures, academic backgrounds, functional backgrounds, industry backgrounds, company backgrounds. So a huge diversity in the network, and this is something that will be part of your professional life as you go along after graduation. Of course, you all have professional networks, but they are usually very focused on the industry, on your profession. But here you get the chance to open up a whole new world for you, if you so want. And what we also hear from alumni many, many years after graduation, that this is something that they always go back to. When they ask for advice, when they ask for references, when they want to go into new industries, when they want to solve business challenges. How do we support this network? We have our own closed community, which is called WEA Connect. It is closed in a sense that it only allows you as students and alumni. So basically, you start out as a student of engaging with this platform, and it's basically everything that goes on at the WEA Executive Academy you find on this platform. You can connect yourself with people from your program, from other programs, from previous cohorts. We have job postings there. We have all our event posts there, pictures from events. So a very lively tool to get engaged, not only with the people sitting right next to you in class, but the wider student and alumni community from the WEA Executive Academy. Talking about return on investment, I thought I'd come back with a few statements as well. That would be Pavel Vranek, and Pavel is a very unique individual. He came back to school at a later stage in his career. He is running two very successful dealerships for BMW in the Czech Republic, and he came back basically saying the know-how was really useful. And in an extra note, he told me, my colleagues and my co-workers fear Monday morning when I come back from Vienna. I have so many great ideas and we have to start implementing right away. So I think this is a very good sign and statements where we teach hands-on. So these are things that you can implement, that you are not purely theoretical. Of course, you need a theoretical base to make the right strategic decisions. But this is, we work on both ends, so you will be able to apply. And along similar lines, two other statements, one by Rita Jakusz. She has done an executive MBA program, and she came from a very different perspective. She was a lawyer in a commercial function for quite some time, but as you can read here, this gave her the street credibility with her employers and potential employers. That was what basically made her change also her job. That the MBA gave her the credibility that she knows what she's talking about, not only from a professional perspective, but also from an academic perspective. Yeah, and last but not least, Florian, who has done the Master of Legal Studies, and I think he came back with a very nice quote, which we highly appreciated. He talked about the real world knowledge and the faculty that we work with. Yeah, so basically, they are not the classical university professors with a lot of theory in their head. They do have a lot of theory in their head, but they also know how to apply and to work with people like you on your professional challenges. Yeah, with that, I'm looking forward to many of your questions. Maybe one sentence before Anna joins me over here. The questions that we can answer today is great. If you have any further questions, please do let us know. We also have different opportunities to connect you to the reality of an MBA program. We can connect you with alumni who've been through the program in your industry, in your country. You can also come to campus and sit in modules if they're ongoing to test drive your MBA. So there are multiple opportunities to find out whether this program is the right one, and I hope you do find out, and I'll see you soon in one of our programs. But now I'm looking forward to Anna and your questions.
Yes, we actually have a lot of questions that came in, so wonderful. It was a quite lively chat. And to start it off, we have a few people from different backgrounds. One is looking to join an MBA program. He comes from a legal background, and he asks if there are any specific knowledge or skills that might be required. And similar with another person coming in for the Master of Legal Studies program, is there prerequisites for someone coming from an IT background in these respects regarding the application?
Well, basically not. What we're looking for in the MBA context is a first degree. Yeah. So to you with a law background, if you have a law degree, that would already qualify. And an MBA is designed for people who come from different backgrounds than business. Yeah, in terms of academic background. However, I have to say that about 30% of our students have a business degree as their first degree. Because think of the time when you did your first degree. What did you know about the world? How could you gather all this knowledge? I think you're a very different stage right now. And even if you have a business degree, you can learn a lot during an MBA or Master of Legal Studies program. Yeah.
Okay, but it still seems that 70% then didn't have a business background.
Yeah.
Okay, and what is it that makes the class level then on par for the people coming outside of business?
So this is, you work in a business-related field, I would guess. Yeah. Basically, then what it is, you come with your professional experience. And as I explained in the pre-module assignment, this is where you get the material to get you started on a certain topic. Yeah. To make sure that everybody reaches a certain level so that you can contribute to the class discussion, but that you can also benefit from it.
Okay, so Afsar, Bernhard, I hope this answered your question. If not, just let us know. Moving on, Mustafa asked a very important question. What types of application documents are required for the application process of the professional MBA? And he had mentioned two specializations, namely energy management and project management.
So basically, when you go online, you find an online application package that talks about the specific documents that you need. Of course, we need an ID like your passport. We need your academic qualification, university degree that has to be translated with some technicalities along the lines. You have to submit your CV.
Then you need the application website filled out as well.
Yeah.
And 2 letters of recommendation.
2 letters of recommendation.
From a superior.
And your letter of motivation. Why do you want to do this program?
Yes. What we don't require is perhaps also interesting for our audience is an English certificate paper like TOEFL or IELTS. And why is that actually?
Well, basically, first of all, we look at your CV. Yeah, if we see in your CV that you had business exposure, the business language is English, we would assume that you feel comfortable. You know that you're doing a program in English. So you have to be aware that it will require reading, writing, and speaking skills. Yeah, and we don't want to make it overly complicated because we see that most of those people who want to go into an MBA program know that upfront and have quite a good command of English. But one way to check for that is during the interview. So you will have a personal interview once we're through with your documents. And there you will get a case study to work on in a rather short period of time. You will present the results to the evaluation committee, and then you will have a conversation about your motivation to do an MBA. And these would be ways where we see your level of English. Yeah, so we realize that more people in our programs are non-native speakers in English than native speakers. So as long as you feel comfortable, you have a reasonably good level of English, you can communicate fairly well, you will be having no problems.
Okay, so that's how we test the English level. And other application documents, I believe, include sometimes if you're looking to join the program, you might need to also apply for a scholarship and send in the documents you mentioned, income statements or any kind of financial burdens that you might have. You would have to prove this on some kind of document.
Yep.
So another topic that came up was about how long would one have to wait till they receive the decision about their application.
We usually have rolling admission. Yeah. So basically, whenever your application comes in, and usually we'll work with you before you have submitted your application because there might be questions that you have for us. So you would be in touch with one of our program managers for quite some time. If not, if you don't need to have any questions answered, you can just submit your application. That's fine too. You do not have to get in touch with us. And then basically once we have reviewed the documents, we do develop a date for an interview. Yeah.
And that takes maybe like 4 or 5 business days for
4 or 5
response.
business days.
Okay.
Yeah. So it depends on how busy we are and how available the people on the panel are. And then usually within a week after the interview, you'll get an answer from our side.
Okay.
So we try to make it rather swift because we know that many of you have to fit it somehow into your schedule. You have to talk to your company. You probably have a visa to acquire, so we try not to delay the process too much.
Okay, great. Well, hopefully that answered your question, Mustafa. And if you have already sent your CV to the program manager and if you've been in contact with her, that's great. What you've done is actually what we call is a profile check, a service we offer in advance to the application. And so I would suggest then apply. If you got the confirmation, that's good news. Moving on, yes?
Can I just add something really briefly?
Yeah.
So for those out there, whether you're not sure which of the programs is the right one for you, as we do offer quite a few, or whether the program that you want to apply for is suitable for you, then really get into a conversation with us. Send us your CV. Yeah, there are no strings attached whatsoever. We have a look at it. We can consult you. We can connect you to alumni. Out of our experience, we will guide you through the process. So please don't be shy. The application very often is the last step in a long consulting process.
Definitely. And I'm going to switch to the next slide. If you don't have a program manager that you're in contact already, if you're unsure, or if you're in between 2 programs, contact my colleague Alexander. He's really good. He has an overview of all the programs, and he can also talk to you about your personal career goals, which you want to achieve, and then guide you perhaps in the MBA that's best fit for you. So, all right, we had another question coming in from Bernhard, a very specific case. If you're perhaps going to go on educational leave for a full-time setting, actually, would this be rather detrimental or favorable for the MBA admissions process?
Neither nor. Yeah, so it's definitely not detrimental. I think this is something that we've seen with some candidates because it depends on the country. So Austria has quite nice regulations along those lines. We've seen that because the MBA is a time of reorganization of your professional career. So if you go on educational leave, then this is something that we've seen before. That gives you more time to study, and as you have a professional background you come with into the program, you will not find it difficult to connect to the different topics. Yeah, you might not have an immediate application, but you can think of how you would have done it in your previous company if you're, for example, in between or if you take leave. Yeah, so actually many international colleagues envy the Austrians for this opportunity because what we quite often hear is, I wished I would have had more time to study, full-time study.
Yeah.
But that, of course, if you have, family bills, you have a job that you don't want to quit, then this option is, of course, the best one, and we do see it as a good way.
Okay, Bernhard. So also get in touch with us if you have a further follow-up question on that. And Mustafa as well, in your situation, get in touch with the program manager to clarify these very personal details for your application. We're looking forward to it. Another question coming in, are there recent applicants from India, or excuse me, are there recent program participants from India?
We do have program participants from India across our programs.
Yes.
So India is not exactly around the corner, but we have some who fly in. We have some who work in Europe. So definitely yes.
Okay, great. And we have about 5 more minutes for more questions, so I invite you all to definitely share them. Another question that I received is, what is the difference actually between a professional MBA and an executive MBA?
Yeah, that's a very valid question. Basically, there is no better or worse. It depends on your specific situation and what you want to get out of the MBA. Yeah. So let me start with the executive MBA. The executive MBA is the right program for you if you prepare yourself or you are already in a certain leadership position. So you have lead a business unit, you want to go to the next C-level position, because you will be looking at the business essentials, as I explained in the business core for the PMBA, from a leadership perspective. So what do I need to know about financial management, about IT, about marketing from a leadership perspective to be able to be a qualified discussion partner and challenger for my colleagues who are the functional experts. Yeah? So you look at the different topics from a leadership perspective. We offer 2 executive MBA programs at the moment. One program that's delivered in Bucharest, which we're very happy and proud of.
Yes.
Yeah? So if you're working and living in the region, that might be one option for you. Or the Global Executive MBA program, which we deliver here in Vienna, but we take the group to different international residencies. So the
name Global.
Hence the name Global, yeah. Yes. So the Executive MBA Bucharest goes to Vienna for the residencies and also to the US. With the Global Executive MBA, we go to Latin America. The current group gets ready at the moment. To Latin America, India, and China, and we round it out in the US, where we also have our double degree partner with the Carlson School of Management in Minneapolis.
Okay, and so the professional MBA then is probably focused on a functional area, but can you perhaps still become CEO?
This is a question that I get very often.
Okay.
What if I choose the professional MBA? What does that mean for my C-level aspirations?
Yeah.
Of course, you can become a C-level manager. It has a different setup as a program. So you look at the business essentials, yeah. But then in the second part of your studies, you go into your functional area, or you go into certain industry, like with energy management, or you go into a certain topic like entrepreneurship and innovation, and you specialize in that area. Yeah. So you've seen from Pavel Franek, by the way, he is CEO of his companies. He has done the professional MBA in marketing and sales, for example. Yeah. So it does not necessarily mean that with one you get the C-level career, the other one not. It depends on where you are in your professional development right now and what the next steps could be.
Okay, exciting. To answer your question, Firas, yes, we will be sending out the recorded session, so don't you worry, you'll be getting it this week. And we also have the questions that often come up in such settings, namely, what types of folks are going to be sitting next to me in the classroom? What can I expect to see when I'm there Thursday through Sunday?
When I talk about the professional MBA, you would have an average age of around 35. Yeah. When I say average, then you have outliers to both ends. Usually they come from, as I mentioned, 75% or about 3/4 of the group, particularly with the English programs delivered in English, from outside of Austria. So we have a very nice mix of different nationalities. Think about what I said in terms of network, but also of learning environment. And in the business core, all the specializations are pooled. So you will not only be sitting together if you chose finance, not only with finance people, but with people working in marketing, entrepreneurs, energy management, etc. And that's another key benefit of the business core, because whatever topic comes up, you will have an expert next to you. So if you work in finance and marketing is not really your passion, you will have somebody working in marketing who can help you, in understand of how marketing people work and operate and how to solve certain challenges, and the other way around with the finance people.
Okay. So the groups are then obviously really forcefully mixed in the beginning before they go out into the specialization.
That's right.
Okay, and in the Global Executive MBA, what types of students participate in that program?
I think similar to that, the cohort that graduates in June has around 40 people from 26 different nationalities, as far away as India, Japan, South Korea, Argentina,
Okay.
So
a big group.
Austria, so.
And they're around 37 years old age?
They are around 37, 38.
38. But
so slightly senior in terms of age and also work experience and more leadership experience, because that's the way the program is set up.
They have about, 6 years of leadership experience?
Yeah, 15 years of professional experience, six years of leadership experience.
Okay. So just to give you an idea of who you can expect next to you.
But check out the website. You find the class profiles on average for the past 3 years online, so you see exactly where those people are coming from, which industries are represented, which countries are represented. So if that should be a key characteristic for making your choice. So you find the information online.
And in addition to that, I'd like to add that if you'd like to talk to somebody who has done the program, you see, in that class, there's somebody maybe in my industry, you can ask the program manager always to get you in touch with someone from an industry. And we'll do our best, of course, to make a match or a very similar match happen and help you get the information you need. So I see that we are basically up for time. I wanted to thank you all for the very lively discussion. It was a great blast, and thanks to you as well.
Great pleasure. Thank you very much. I hope you got all the questions answered. If not, we have highlighted the different opportunities to get in touch with us. Please do take advantage. That's what we're here for, and we're looking forward to seeing many of you soon in one of our programs.
So thanks again as well to our IT support, and thanks, dear audience. Have a wonderful day or evening, and we hope to hear from you. Take care.